In the heart of a vibrant jungle, a parrot lived whose beauty was unmatched. Its feathers shimmered with every color of the rainbow, admired by every creature that passed by. It was often the center of attention, but despite the admiration, the parrot felt an aching emptiness that no one could see. The parrot often perched high in the trees, observing the world below. It had everything anyone could want: beauty, grace, and admiration, but it wasn't satisfied. Its eyes would always settle on other birds, and feelings of discontent began to creep in. It watched the eagle soar effortlessly, strong and free, ruling the jungle with pride and power. The parrot felt a pang of envy, wishing it could have the same freedom and strength. Then there were the hummingbirds, darting through the air with incredible speed, flitting from one flower to the next. The parrot longed for their quickness and freedom. Unlike the parrot, they didn't have to worry about being trapped. They were small, fast, and elusive, moving through the world without a care. As it sat perched on its branch, the parrot's heart filled with frustration. Why wasn't its beauty enough? Why did it feel trapped by the admiration it received? It began to question if beauty was truly the key to happiness. The more it observed, the more it realized that other birds seemed to have something more: freedom, joy, and a life unburdened by constant praise. It wasn't just the eagle or hummingbirds that filled the parrot with longing. Every time it saw the owl, wise and quiet, the parrot felt an ache. The owl didn't need to impress anyone. It was respected for its wisdom, not its looks. The parrot began to wonder if there was more to life than being admired. Was there more to happiness than what it had? The parrot had always believed beauty was everything. It thought being admired would bring happiness, but as it sat watching the other birds, it realized its life was missing something. The attention, beauty, and praise seemed empty now. The parrot felt like an outsider in its own life, longing to be something more than just a beautiful bird. It wished for the freedom of the eagle, the agility of the hummingbird, the wisdom of the owl, or the strength of the cardinal. What the parrot didn't realize was that in its pursuit of what others had, it overlooked its own unique gift, its beauty, its charm, its voice, and its ability to bring joy to others. It failed to see that happiness didn't lie in becoming someone else. It lay in embracing the gifts it already had. As the sun set over the jungle, the parrot sat in silence, its heart heavy with thoughts. It didn't yet know, but the journey it was about to take would teach it more about true happiness than it could have ever imagined. The parrot sat high in its usual spot, watching the bustling jungle below. Its radiant feathers drew admiration from every creature, and its melodious voice was always met with praise. But instead of feeling pride, the parrot felt suffocated. What had once been a source of joy now felt like a heavy burden. The constant attention reminded it that it was admired only for its beauty, not for anything deeper. As the parrot sat there, longing for something different, it began to envy the freedom of other birds. It watched the eagle soaring high above, gliding effortlessly through the sky with no one to admire it. The eagle had the freedom to be independent, to fly without the weight of expectation. The parrot yearned for that same strength and liberation. Then the parrot saw the hummingbirds darting about with incredible speed, flitting from one flower to another. Their agility was unmatched, and they seemed to move without any concern for being admired. The parrot wished for the same freedom, the ability to go wherever it pleased, without the constant need to be praised. The owl, perched quietly in the shadows, also caught the parrot's attention. Unlike the parrot, the owl didn't need to be admired. It was respected for its wisdom and calm demeanor. The parrot envied the owl's quiet confidence and ability to live without the pressure of attention. The owl seemed free from the distractions of admiration, able to focus on what truly mattered. The parrot realized it was trapped, not by physical barriers, but by the very beauty that had once been its greatest gift. Its feathers, adored by all, now felt like a cage, The admiration that once felt validating now seemed to imprison it. The parrot longed to be something else, something that didn't have to perform for others, something that didn't rely on beauty for validation. It dreamed of being the eagle, the hummingbird, or the owl, free, unburdened, and respected for more than just appearance. The more it thought about this, the more the parrot felt the urge to change. Beauty was no longer a gift. It had become a burden. It wasn't that the parrot hated its appearance, but it wanted to be more than just a decoration for the jungle. It wanted to find peace within itself, without the need for approval. One evening, as the sun set and the jungle bathed in golden light, the parrot made a decision. It would seek change. It could no longer live confined by the expectations of beauty and admiration. The parrot needed to find peace and freedom, to be able to live authentically. With determination, the parrot took flight into the soft evening air, filled with both hope and uncertainty. It didn't know exactly what it was looking for, but it knew one thing: it couldn't go on living as it had. The quest for freedom had begun, and the parrot's journey was just starting. The parrot flew deep into the jungle, searching for the wise old owl, hoping it could provide the answers to its restlessness. The jungle had always admired the parrot's beauty, but despite the praise, it felt trapped by the expectations of others. It longed for freedom, to be like the eagle with its strength, the hummingbird with its speed, or the owl with its wisdom. As the sun set, the parrot found the owl perched on an ancient stump in a quiet clearing. The parrot immediately poured out its heart. "Wise owl, I have beauty, grace, and admiration, but none of it brings me happiness. I watch the eagle soar, the hummingbird dart about, and you, respected for your wisdom. I wish I could be like them, free and unburdened. What can I do to change?" The owl listened calmly, then asked, "Why do you want to be someone else?" The parrot ruffled its feathers, frustration growing. "I feel trapped. My beauty is admired, but no one truly knows me. I watch others live freely, and I want that. If I were like them, I'd be happy." The owl, with understanding in its eyes, replied, "True happiness doesn't come from being someone else. Happiness lies in embracing who you are, accepting your gifts, and finding contentment within yourself." The parrot blinked, confused. "How can I be happy with who I am? My beauty feels like a burden." The owl tilted its head gently. "Your beauty is not a burden, but a gift. Just as the eagle's strength and the hummingbird's speed are gifts, your vibrant feathers and voice are yours to cherish. You've believed that being admired is a trap, but it's your gift to bring joy to others with your song. The problem is your perception of your beauty. Embrace it, and you'll find peace." The parrot sat silently, reflecting on the owl's words. "But how do I embrace it?" it asked softly. The owl smiled kindly. "Stop comparing yourself to others. True freedom comes from within, by appreciating your unique gifts. You are meant to be the parrot, with all your colors and your voice, not the eagle or the hummingbird." The parrot's heart began to shift. It had spent so long longing for something else, thinking happiness lay outside itself. But now, the owl's wisdom showed that true happiness was in embracing its own identity. The parrot's beauty was not a cage, but a gift. "I understand now," the parrot whispered. "I've been searching for happiness outside of myself, but it's always been inside me. I am free to be who I am, and that's enough." The owl nodded with approval. "Yes, dear parrot. Embrace who you are, and you will find peace." With newfound clarity, the parrot soared through the jungle, no longer burdened by admiration. It embraced its true self, knowing that happiness was not about changing, but about accepting the unique gifts it had always possessed. The parrot flew high through the jungle, its wings cutting through the air as the owl's words echoed in its mind. For so long it had longed to be something else, like the free eagle, the swift hummingbird, or the wise owl. But now, as it soared, something within the parrot began to shift. It remembered its past moments of joy, perched on the tallest trees, admired by all for its vibrant colors and melodious songs. The animals of the jungle would stop to listen, captivated by its presence. At one point, the parrot had taken that attention for granted, believing that admiration was the key to happiness. It was so focused on what it didn't have that it couldn't see how much joy it brought to the jungle simply by being itself. Flying lower, memories flooded its mind. It recalled the time spent by the river singing to the animals. The smiles, the connection, it felt fulfilling. But in its search for more, the parrot had failed to see how much it already offered. Too focused on what it lacked. The wind ruffled its feathers as the truth unfolded. The parrot's beauty wasn't a burden or something to escape. It was a gift. Its vibrant feathers and voice brought joy to others. These weren't qualities to hide or envy, but to celebrate. The parrot had been blind to its blessings, so focused on its desires that it failed to appreciate what it already possessed. With each passing moment, the parrot began to realize that happiness wasn't about becoming the eagle, hummingbird, or owl. It wasn't about wishing to be someone else. It was about fully embracing its own unique gifts. The parrot had always been special, but it had been too caught up in comparisons to see it. As the parrot soared higher, a sense of peace washed over it. The envy, frustration, and longing faded. It now understood that happiness wasn't about searching for something better. It was about accepting itself and the gifts it already had. It could now celebrate its beauty, its song, and its presence in the jungle. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the parrot landed on a branch, its feathers glowing in the golden light. It no longer felt the burden of comparisons. It was free to be the parrot with all its uniqueness, and to find joy simply by being itself. In that moment, the parrot understood that happiness wasn't found in wanting to be someone else, but in embracing who you are. The parrot flew back to its perch, the jungle now feeling more vibrant and full of life than ever. As it landed, it paused, gazing out at the vast, endless world beneath. For the first time in a long while, it felt a deep sense of peace. It was no longer restless, no longer searching for something more. It was content, at peace with its own existence. The parrot settled on the branch, its colorful feathers gleaming in the setting sun. It now understood that its beauty was not a burden, but a gift. The attention it had once resented was something to cherish. It had spent so much of its life comparing itself to others, the eagle's strength, the hummingbird's speed, the owl's wisdom. But in embracing its uniqueness, it realized happiness wasn't about becoming someone else. It was about accepting who you truly are and appreciating your own gifts. The parrot closed its eyes, reflecting on its journey. It had always been beautiful, but it had never truly appreciated that beauty until now. The admiration from others had been taken for granted, but it had always brought joy to the jungle. The parrot learned that happiness didn't come from changing, but from embracing its own gifts and recognizing the value it already brought. As it opened its eyes, the parrot felt warmth in its chest. No longer burdened by comparisons or the desire to change, it had found freedom within itself. The jungle around it seemed brighter, the birds sang in harmony, and the trees swayed gently. The parrot realized it was a part of this world, just as it was meant to be. With a joyful cry, the parrot began to sing, its melody echoing through the trees. It was no longer seeking approval, just celebrating being alive and true to itself. The jungle seemed to pause, appreciating the beauty of the moment. The song was one of pure joy, a reflection of the parrot's newfound freedom. The parrot felt the joy spread through its body. It no longer felt trapped by its beauty or the expectations of others. It had found peace in accepting itself, realizing it was enough as it was. The greatest wonder was discovering its own worth and place in the world. As the last notes of the song faded, the parrot sat still, content and grateful. It had learned that true happiness comes not from wishing to be someone else, but from embracing who we are and appreciating our blessings. The parrot understood now that happiness wasn't about striving for perfection or seeking approval. It was about embracing the life it was given. With a final sigh, the parrot rested on its branch, wings gently folded. The jungle buzzed with life, but the parrot felt at home, at peace, and for the first time, truly happy.